Hello, and welcome to Insurance World TV, your trusted platform for simplifying insurance and financial concepts into practical knowledge you can use in everyday life. We are delighted to have you join us once again. If you have ever worked in insurance sales, financial advisory, marketing, business development, or any position that involves prospecting, closing businesses, or helping people make important financial decisions, then today's discussion is for you. Let me ask you a simple question. How many times have you heard a prospective client say, "Let me think about it," or "It's too expensive," or "I already have cover," or "Send me the details on WhatsApp," or perhaps the famous, "I need to talk to my spouse first." Most sales professionals hear these statements and immediately assume they have been rejected. But have they? No, not necessarily. You see, one of the biggest mistakes in insurance sales is taking objections at face value. What clients say is not always what they mean. In fact, many prospects are not rejecting insurance at all. Some are simply being polite and looking for a graceful way to postpone the conversation. Others are uncertain because they have not yet fully understood the solution being presented. Some are confused by the complexity of insurance products, while others are concerned about affordability and competing financial priorities. There are also those whose trust has been shaped by negative experiences, stories from friends and family, or perceptions about the insurance industry. And for many people, the real issue is that they do not yet have enough information or confidence to make an informed decision. Beneath almost every objection lies an unresolved concern that needs understanding rather than pressure. The reality is that people rarely reject insurance itself. More often, they are reacting to a lack of clarity, a lack of trust, poor timing, competing priorities, or uncertainty about value. In other words, the objection you hear is often not the real objection. And that is exactly what we're going to uncover today. In this episode, we will explore the hidden psychology behind common insurance objections. More importantly, we will discuss how professional insurance advisors can respond effectively, not by applying pressure, but by understanding the real concern behind the words. By the end of this video, you will begin to hear objections differently. You will stop seeing them as barriers and start seeing them as clues. Because the best insurance professionals do not simply sell policies. They understand people. So stay with me as we unpack today's topic, the hidden meaning behind insurance objections. Let's get started. Introduction. Many insurance agents view objections responses as rejections, a roadblock standing between a prospect and a sale. As a result, they become frustrated, discouraged, or overly aggressive in their attempts to overcome these objections. But what if we have been looking at objections the wrong way? What if most insurance objections are not actually objections at all, but simply clues? The truth is that people rarely communicate their real concerns directly. Human beings are social creatures. They dislike confrontation. They do not want to offend others, appear uninformed, indecisive, financially constrained, or fearful. So, instead of expressing their concerns openly, they often hide them behind polite statements. An experienced insurance professional understands this reality. They know that clients are usually not rejecting insurance itself. Rather, they are reacting to uncertainty, trust issues, timing concerns, competing priorities, or a lack of understanding. The difference between an average insurance salesperson and an exceptional one lies in the ability to hear not only what the client says, but also what the client means. At a first principles level, almost every insurance objection can be traced back to one of four underlying gaps: a clarity gap, a trust gap, a timing gap, or a value gap. Once you understand which gap exists, the conversation changes completely. You stop selling and start diagnosing. In many cases, what a client says is only part of the story. Beneath the words often lies a deeper concern, hesitation, or unanswered question. The goal is not merely to hear the objection, but to understand what the client is really communicating without saying it aloud. Let us now examine some of the most common responses insurance professionals hear every day and uncover the hidden message behind them. Number 1. Let me think about it. This is the most dangerous objection because it sounds polite. In fact, many agents leave such meetings feeling optimistic, believing that the client simply needs time to make a decision. Unfortunately, that assumption is often incorrect. Most people do not need more time. They need more certainty. But what does it really mean? When a client says, "Let me think about it," they may actually be saying, A, "I don't fully understand it." B, "I'm not convinced yet." Or C, "I just want to delay." So instead of chasing the client, don't panic. Diagnose the gap. The professional response is not pressure. It is curiosity. Rather than asking when you should follow up, a better question might be, "I completely understand. Just so I can help you better, what specifically would you like to think about? Is it the benefits, the cost, the timing, or whether this solution fits your needs?" This question helps clarify the vague objection and turns it into a meaningful conversation about specifics. You will learn that clarity beats pressure every time. Number 2, it's too expensive. This response causes many agents to immediately launch into a defense of the premium. They begin explaining affordability, discounts, payment plans, and product features. Yet price is rarely the real issue. This response is not really about money. It's about value. People spend money every day on things they believe are valuable. They buy expensive smartphones, vehicles, vacations, entertainment packages, and luxury items. When someone says insurance is expensive, what they often mean is that they have not yet connected the cost of the premium to the potential cost of the risk. In reality, the prospect is making a value judgment. The client is saying, "I don't feel the risk is real enough to justify this cost." They are unconvinced that the likelihood or impact of the risk justifies the expense. This changes the nature of the conversation entirely. Rather than defending the premium, a skilled advisor explores the consequences of being uninsured. A thoughtful response might be, "I understand your concern. Let me ask you this. If the event we are protecting against happened tomorrow, would this premium still feel expensive compared to the financial consequences you might face? If a medical emergency happened tomorrow, would this cost feel high, or would the hospital bill feel higher?" Now you've moved the conversation from expense to protection, because insurance is never about price. That question shifts attention away from the cost of insurance and toward the cost of inaction. Insurance has a peculiar characteristic. It almost always appears expensive before a loss occurs and remarkably affordable afterward.
Dreams. We bring the knowledge and understanding.
Number 3, I already have cover. This sounds final, but it's not. Many agents interpret this as the end of the discussion. Yet this response often conceals a surprising amount of uncertainty. Many policyholders do not fully understand what their current policies cover. Some are unaware of exclusions. Others have never reviewed their benefits. Many assume they are fully protected when, in reality, significant gaps exist. The prospect may simply be trying to avoid duplication. They may be seeking reassurance that they are already adequately protected. Or they may be politely signaling that they wish to end the conversation. So don't argue. Audit instead. The best response is neither competition nor confrontation. It is consultation. A professional advisor might respond by saying, "That's excellent. May I quickly ask what type of cover you currently have and what it includes? I'd hate to recommend something that duplicates what you already own." Then follow with, "Many policies have gaps people don't notice. Would you like me to check for you?" Now you are not selling. You are reviewing. Notice the difference. The conversation immediately shifts from selling to reviewing, from persuading to advising, and from competition to consultation.
With every message people hear, financial freedom starts with learning, and learning starts today.
Number 4. I need to talk to my spouse or family. In most cases, this is often a legitimate concern. Insurance decisions frequently affect the entire family, and major financial commitments should ideally involve joint decision-making. However, this statement can also serve as a socially acceptable delay tactic. The key is understanding which situation applies and guide the process. Your response should be, a useful question might be, "That's a good idea. What I can do is give you a simple summary you can share so it's easy to decide together." You can also ask these questions to establish the real objection. Number 1. What concerns do you think your spouse would raise about this proposal? Or, number 2. If your spouse had one concern, what do you think it would be? Perhaps the concern is affordability, or trust, or uncertainty regarding the benefits. Once you find the underlying issue and address constructively, you could turn the client into your advocate. Number 5. I'm not interested. This is a closed door, but not always permanent. Lack of interest is often a symptom rather than a conclusion. The prospect may not see the relevance. They may not trust the source of information, or they do not understand the problem being solved, or they are simply distracted by more immediate concerns. Very few people are genuinely uninterested in protecting their families, preserving their income, or safeguarding their future. What they may be uninterested in is a solution whose relevance has not yet been made clear. That is why curiosity remains one of the most powerful tools in insurance sales. Rather than arguing, one might simply ask, "May I ask what makes it feel irrelevant right now?" The answer often opens a door that seemed permanently closed. In summary, this statement could mean the prospect has not seen the relevance yet, or they don't trust the solution, or it could be emotional disconnect. So instead of pushing facts, reopen curiosity. No problem. Just out of curiosity, is it because you already have a plan or insurance just doesn't feel relevant right now? You are not selling anymore. You are understanding. Number 6. Send me details on WhatsApp. This is perhaps the most misunderstood statement because it sounds like progress. Many agents celebrate when they hear this request. Unfortunately, experienced sales professionals know that a WhatsApp request is often little more than a polite exit strategy. The prospect receives the brochure, thanks the agent, and disappears forever. The problem is not the request itself. The problem is assuming that request for information equals interest. Before sending anything, the advisor should seek clarity. A simple question such as, certainly. To make sure I send the right information, which area interests you most? Health insurance, education planning, life insurance, retirement planning, or income protection? Keeps the conversation alive and ensures that the information shared remains relevant.
Let's talk insurance. Let's talk insurance.
Number 7. I don't trust insurance companies. This objection is particularly important because it is rarely about the product being discussed. Instead, it is rooted in experience, perception, or emotion. The prospect may know someone whose claim was delayed, or they may have heard negative stories, or they may have encountered misleading sales practices in the past. Attempting to argue against such experiences rarely works. Trust cannot be demanded. It must be earned. A more productive response is acknowledgement. You might say, "That's a fair concern." Insurance only proves its value when claims are paid. Would it help if I showed you some real claim examples and explained exactly how the process works? Trust grows through evidence, transparency, and consistency, not through persuasion alone. This is not about your pitch. It's about past experiences. So don't argue. Acknowledge it. That's fair. Insurance only matters when claims actually work. Trust is not built by talking. It is built by proof.
Stronger, stronger, stronger. When people understand planning, the future becomes bright.
Number 8. I'll come back later. Most of the time, this is not a timing problem. It is an urgency problem. The prospect does not yet feel compelled to act. The danger, of course, is that risk does not wait for convenient moments. Accidents do not check calendars. Illnesses do not respect paydays. Emergencies rarely arrive with advance notice. Instead of accepting a vague promise of future action, the professional advisor seeks specificity. Your response should be, certainly. What would need to happen for this to become a priority? That question often uncovers the true barrier. In the end, the most important lesson for insurance professionals is surprisingly simple. This is usually lack of urgency. So instead of vague follow-up, set structure. No problem. Should I follow up after payday or after month-end commitments? Now later becomes a real timeline. So, here's the big lesson. Every insurance objection falls into just 4 categories: clarity gap, trust gap, timing gap, and money gap. And once you identify the real gap, you stop handling objections and start solving human decisions, because in insurance sales, the best agents don't push harder. They listen deeper. Every objection tells a story. Every hesitation contains information. Every delay reveals something about the prospect's decision-making process. The most successful insurance advisors do not become experts at handling objections. They become experts at understanding people. Because beneath every objection lies a human concern waiting to be understood. And once that concern is identified, the conversation ceases to be about selling insurance. It becomes about solving problems. That is where trust is built and value is created. And that is where lasting insurance relationships begin. If you found this useful, subscribe to Insurance World TV for more practical insights on insurance. sales psychology, and financial education in Kenya. And comment below. Which objection do you hear most often in your field?
Insurance World TV, leading with knowledge and clarity, teaching the world